Welcome back. I think that this is going to be the most beneficial video for anybody who's looking to start ecom, just started ecom, is trying to start ecom, and can't seem to figure it out. I'm going to explain to you why 99% of people fail in this business model. It's not an accidental statistic. There are reasons and there are mistakes that people are making that are costing them money and time. How do I know this? Because it's costed me money and time. I've lost hundreds of thousands in the process of making 7 figures. It's been a crazy journey. I'm going to explain to you some of the key things that you need to pay attention to, watch out for, and make sure you don't do so that you do not lose the amount of money that it costed me to learn these lessons. If you are stuck and you're trying to figure your way out through ecom, I don't know if there's a better video on the internet than the one you're about to watch right now that's going to explain to you what is costing you your business, that is going to explain to you why you're not succeeding with ecom, step by step, problem by problem. If you have 9 minutes, I don't think there's a better place to be right now. Lock in, let's get it. First, if you're starting ecom, you need to understand the roadmap. Let me explain to you what the roadmap is. You see, when you start and you jump into the ecom business, you usually jump in like the rest of us because of screenshots on social media and short form content that makes you feel like everybody in their 20s was making a boatload of money with no effort. That's usually why most people get into this. Most people don't get into this to be like, I can't wait to grind. They're doing it because they see a bunch of kids that are young on social media running around with a lavish life showing Shopify dashboard screenshots. The problem with that is, one, most of those people either don't have that type of money or are faking their life. And two, nobody actually explains the fact that most of the people you see on the internet have been doing the business for a pretty significant amount of time before they came on the internet and started going crazy. Now, the roadmap is a 3-step process that once you understand this, if you can come into this business with this roadmap and you understand how this works, you will be 100 times better off. The first step of the roadmap is acquiring the information. You need to figure out what the fuck you're even doing. You need to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to do it, what even is this business. That's the first thing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and what I mean by what you're doing, I mean you need to know that you are selling products direct to consumers without holding inventory, shipping from overseas. You need to have a clear understanding of what this business is, what this model is. Because if you don't, and you come into this guessing, and you come into this unsure, you're going to make mistakes purely out of ignorance. You don't even want to know how many people I speak to that come into this business and want to start and have no idea what any of this is. It's like, if you're going to start a business, you need to understand the industry. You need to understand what's going on here. 1, so that you don't make mistakes, and 2, so that you have any shot of competing. Because there's guys out here like myself, like a lot of people that I know who are doing this every day, and you're going to come into an industry of guys that are really pushing, and you're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. You're going to get wiped off the map. The first thing you need to do is spend a little bit of time and understand what even ecom is. How does it work? Okay? That's the first thing and probably the cornerstone of everything else I'm about to tell you. Let's get into the second one. The second step in this roadmap is now taking action on the information, okay? So let me give you a simplified rundown of this. You want to start ecom, so you start doing some research, getting information on ecom. What is it? How does it work? How do you start? All of that, right? Once you have enough, it doesn't take a year to do this. It's going to take maybe a week or 2, depending on how much research you do in a day. You want to have a base understanding. Once you have that and you understand what Shopify is, you understand where the products are coming from, you understand that you're supposed to use social media. You may not know how to run ads, but you know that you have to, right? Once you have that base understanding, the next thing you need to do, and you need to do this right away, is take action. If you don't take action, you're going to get stuck in this cycle of YouTube video after YouTube video after program after course after this after that with 0 action taken. And if you don't take any action, nothing else that I say will matter. So once you start watching YouTube videos, and once you start looking at short form content, and once you start seeing these posts and you're serious about starting ecom, you got to jump right into it. Because if you don't jump right into it, you're never going to be able to actually test out the information that you collected. You're just going to be this ecom encyclopedia with no results, no proof, no action. So the second step in the roadmap is pivotal. Why? Because there's no sense of having a bunch of information if you don't take action, but you also can't really take action until you know what the you're doing. This is why I said it's a roadmap. It starts in a specific order on purpose. So once you collect enough information to understand the business model and understand what you're getting into, then you need to take action. So what does that mean? Simple things, just the simple stuff. Make a Shopify account, figure out how to get a store built, figure out what products are good or not. This doesn't mean you're gonna have the best products or the best store or any of that. You're not, but you wanna start taking action. Start messing around with the store build. You're gonna build a terrible store at first. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your products that you're gonna find at first are gonna be fucking terrible. doesn't matter. You need to do that so that you can start testing the information that you collected. Because if you don't, you're just gonna be this big ass ball of information that's essentially useless, okay? Now let's get into the third step of the roadmap. The third step of this beginner roadmap is now you need to actually analyze what's going on, okay? So that sounds kind of vague. Let me give you some more detail. We collected our information, we tested our information by taking some action. 99% chance that the first action you take, the first store you build, the first ad you run, the first product you find is gonna be terrible. The next thing you need to do is look back and be like, okay, why does my store look like shit? Why is this product not good? Why didn't this ad work? That's the next thing, because if you don't look back and reflect on what didn't work, you're just gonna keep running forward in the blind, okay? Now, let me give you some actual steps that you can do to reflect. Let's say you find a product and you build your very first store. You don't know why your store is good or bad. You have no idea. This is just the first website you've ever built. Go on the internet and start looking up e-commerce websites. Look up different brands. Look at their website. This is very basic. This is free. You don't even have to pay anybody for this. And start to look at their site and look at your site. Okay, obviously some of these brands are gonna be so far ahead of you that you're not gonna be able to replicate that, but you can look at the principles. What are they putting on their website? How are they writing their headlines? What does their font look like? What do they have in their fold where the pricing is? Look at that. Start to watch YouTube videos on specific things. How to make a good Shopify store. Now that you've got the information, took action on the information, now you can actually go and apply specific learnings. Go on the internet, watch how to build a store, watch how to find products, because now you're gonna get a better understanding. If you watch a video on how to build a Shopify store and you've never built one, it's really not gonna do shit for you because you don't understand any of it. You've never been inside of Shopify. If you've already built a store, even if it's the worst store ever, then when you go watch how to build a store video, you're going to have so much more context on how to improve. And this is why it's a roadmap. Same thing goes for products. The first product that you find is going to be whack. But then once you watch a video or two on how to find winning products, sure, they might not show you all the secret sauce, but it's going to give you a much clearer vision on what people are actually looking to sell, rather than you kind of just winging it, probably picking some random shit that you found on the internet somewhere. So you need to acquire the information. Then you need to actually take action on the information. Once you have it, then you need to look back and analyze the results of the action that you took. Those three first steps will put you ahead of 99% of people. I promise you, because the 99% of people who start usually just watching YouTube video after YouTube video, taking no action, or they take an action or two and quit because they have no idea why it's not working and why they're not millionaires. If you can actually come into the business model with this mindset of like, okay, let me take some time to learn, then let me actually apply what I learned, then let me look back at what I applied, you will blow past these fucking people. The problem is that takes a little bit of time. That takes work ethic. This is why some people are successful in business and others are not. If you go into this with the right mindset of like, okay, it might take me a little while to make some money, but I'm gonna learn this step by step so I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be getting feedback on every step that I take along the way, you will succeed. If you come into this like, bro, why is my first product not converting? Why is it not making $10,000 a day? This is a scam, and you quit and delete Shopify, you're gonna jump in the party with the rest of the 99% of people. Okay, now that we've went over the beginner roadmap and the mindset that you need coming into ecom, you need the mindset of understanding that this is a business and it's going to take you a little bit of time before you see quick cash. Because to be honest with you, most of the people you see on the internet, like I said, they're either faking results or they've been in the game longer than you know. So it might seem quick because they're just starting to post it now, but they've been in this business for years. Now that we've understood and we've went over the beginner roadmap, let's talk about the next reason why 99% of people fail. It's because they have no concept of consumer behavior and no concept of direct response marketing at all. At all. I mean, the people that I talk to, even the ones who make some money, most of these people are just literally finding competitors, finding people online that are already running a store and ripping it. Ripping their website, ripping their ads, ripping their product, ripping everything head to toe. Now, ripping is part of ecom, unfortunately. It's f***ed up, but everybody lives by it, everybody dies by it. It's just one of those things that's there. Here's what you'll notice. The people who only rip they'll be able to make some quick cash up front because the product's already validated, the marketing's already validated, and people are already selling it and people are already buying it. But they won't be able to scale. Why won't they be able to scale to $150,000, $250,000, $350,000 a month? They have no skill. They have no understanding of marketing. They have no creativity. They just ripped everything. And the reason why I put this in this video is because if you start your ecom journey by ripping products, you're gonna hurt your growth long term because you're not gonna be able to build the foundation of actually understanding marketing. If you go for harder products first that actually require more thought, more work ethic, and more marketing. Sure, it might take you a little longer to start making money, but then when there comes a time and place where you see a product that you can easily outcompete and rip, you're gonna actually have the skill set and the creativity to blast it out of here. If you do it in reverse and you start your journey by ripping products, you are completely missing out on the foundation of marketing, completely holding yourself back by not learning the skill. This is the problem. This is why 99% of people fail, because these people aren't actual marketers. Every person that you see on social media that's at 500K a month plus, they are a good marketer nearly every time, because the only way to get to that level is you have to be a good marketer. You have to know what you're doing. You have to understand consumer behavior. You have to understand buying psychology. It's the only way to get to that level. The guys who you see that are always bouncing from product to product to product to product, and they can't find any winners and they're always complaining, those are guys who are just running around ripping people. They don't have any creative foundation. They don't have any marketing foundation. Now, everything that I just said is true, and it is extremely important that you build that base level understanding of marketing and that base foundation of skills. But I'm sure your next question is, okay, but how do I do that? How do I actually learn that? How do I actually get that skill set? You do that like you learn anything else. You have to go get new information and you have to test that new information. Read some books on marketing. You can read things like Breakthrough Advertising. You can read things like Influence. You can read things like Ogilvy on advertising. You can read books like that. Another thing you can do is you can also go and ask people who have already done it. You can go and find people in ecom who are ahead of you, and you can ask them what they do. You can get on consulting calls with them. You have to go and learn marketing. It's the only way. You have to get creative, and that's going to come along with a bunch of failed product tests. But they're failed product tests as far as revenue, but they are wins and successful product tests as far as your skill set. Once you have a base level understanding of marketing, and you understand direct response, and you understand consumer behavior, the way that your skill compounds in ecom is something that I can't even explain. But when you come out of the gate and all you do, like the rest of the people, like I said, why 99% of people fail is because they come out of the gate selling product after product. I was part of the 99%, so I understand this. I was starting out by selling product after product. I didn't know. I thought it was just like a race to the bottom. Who could rip somebody off the fastest, and then who can make the most front end cash. Like, I was part of that, so I speak from experience. But if you watch this video and you skate these mistakes, you will be able to not only make more, but you'll make it further and you'll do it faster than if you go the traditional route. So let's just recap real quick. You need to acquire information. You need to test that information. Then you need to reflect on your test. Then you also need to make sure that you are learning a baseline understanding of marketing, and you're not just coming out of the gate trying to rip people off. You're not just looking to steal ads and steal products off the bat. You're actually learning consumer behavior. You're actually learning customer psychology. You're actually learning direct response marketing. While you're learning these things, you're testing products and you're testing what you're learning. That's the key theme I want you to understand in this video. Every time you get a little bit of information, you need to go and test that, because you don't want to be the guy that's just sitting on a bunch of information, because that does you no good. We all know those guys. They know everything with no results. Every time you get a little bit of information, go and test it. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the third reason that 99% of people fail, and this is something that I was victim to for a long time. Something that I was definitely victim to when I first started ecom, that I think a lot of people are victim to, and this is why 99% of people fail, is you're taking information from too many sources. Now, I probably should have positioned this earlier in the video because of all the things I just explained to you, but I felt like this was the perfect place to put it. You see, all of the things that I was just telling you about getting information and then testing that information comes with one caveat. That's the fact that there are tens of hundreds of people on the internet in the ecom space, myself included, that are giving advice and talking about strategies that have worked for them and different things that they've done that worked. Now, the issue is when you're a beginner, you have no proof of concept for yourself. You have no results of your own. So you are taking advice from anybody and everybody that you deem successful. Now, here's the problem. Let's say there's two guys in ecom. One's done 10 million, the other one has done 10 million, and then there's a beginner in the middle. Both of these guys who have done over 10 million are telling the beginner, at the end of the street, make a left. At the end of the street, make a right. They're both successful, and now you're fucking confused. You don't know which way to go. You don't know who to believe. This guy's saying left, this guy's saying right. I got screwed with this because in the beginning, I wanted to be successful so bad that I was just taking advice from anybody and everybody. Anybody with a YouTube channel and a screenshot, I would listen to. The problem with this is some people have their own strategy that works for them, and then that strategy might contradict with another person's strategy. So to combat this, and the thing that I think really allowed my career to turn a corner, is pick 1 to 3 people to learn from until you're at around 100, 150K in revenue in a month. For the first six-figure month, don't take advice from more than 3 people at a time. Even if outside of those 3 people, the people that are talking to you seem qualified, seem successful, just block it out, because the quantity quantity of people is going to just completely throw you off. 1 to 3 people max. So you need to pick 1 to 3 people that you think are successful and you actually admire their work and you actually want to, replicate some of their success. Study them, learn from them, figure out how to get next to them, block out the rest of the noise. Because once you do that, you're gonna have such a clearer vision on how to actually get ahead with ecom. Because if we run through everything that I just said, right, this is why I put it in this order. You're a brand new beginner, you're trying to start ecom, you want to start making money with e-commerce. What do? First, you learn about it. What is ecom? How do you start? How does it work? Who's involved? That. Once you have that, you take action. You find a product or two. You test a product or two. You build a store or two. You start to test that shit. You don't know what you're doing, but you're in the field now. Now you got skin in the game. Third thing, you're looking back at your first tests, figuring out what went wrong, figuring out what went right, actually giving yourself feedback, analyzing your own work, figuring out the things you did good and the things you did wrong. Then, once you look back at your own feedback and you have a little bit of feedback on what what you did, you have a little bit of data, then you're diving into real marketing. You're starting to learn consumer behavior. You're starting to learn customer psychology. You're starting to learn direct response marketing. You're starting to learn these things. You're figuring out copywriting. You're understanding why certain words, push people to do certain things. Certain colors push people to do certain things. You're understanding why certain products work and certain products don't. Then you're picking 1 to 3 people as guidance or mentors, and you're studying them and you're learning from them and you're practicing the things that they practice. You see, all of this works in a line. This is like the pipeline that is going to get you to a point where you're actually successful in ecom. Because the opposite of this is jump into ecom with no knowledge, start ripping a bunch of products, hopefully one of them cashes out, then that product dies, you rip another product, you repeat the cycle, and then you get caught in this cycle of no information or the wrong information, no skill set, and constantly trying to rip people off all day. This is why I gave you guys this kind of breakdown, because I was in the first cycle. I was in that cycle for a decent amount of time. I didn't know any better. I thought that's what ecom was. Then I took a step back and said, wait a minute, this is all fucking wrong. I'm doing this all wrong. And that's why I wanted to get on here and give you a genuine breakdown of why 99% of people fail, because the information on the internet is so cooked. It's cooked, bro. It is so cooked. If you are not actually trying to learn marketing and actually trying to understand customers and understanding what a good product is, what capabilities, what utility a good product has, and you're just ripping things and you're just trying to take stuff off the front pages of spy tools, you're gonna get left behind. The internet and YouTube is gonna tell you that that's okay. You're gonna get left behind. And this is just person to person. This is a free YouTube video that you're watching, but this is why 99% of people fail. They have no concept of marketing, no concept of, who's actually doing it, who's actually successful. They're just listening to anybody and everybody. They're taking in 100 opinions at once, trying them all. They're all contradicting each other. They're running around in circles, chasing their own tail. They're not looking back at their own feedback at all. Every time the products don't work, they just move to the next one without analyzing the last one at all. And they just start this perpetual cycle of just like quick dopamine hit because I ripped somebody's product. That product either, doesn't work at all or makes a little bit of money, then fades out, and start the cycle all over again. And I don't want to see that happen to you guys. So if we're going to consolidate the information that I just gave you into how to be successful in ecom, the first step is have an understanding of the business model before you start. Have an understanding of where the products are coming from, how you're getting them there, how you're getting customers. Have an understanding of the model. Know what you're walking into before you walk into it. You would think this is self-explanatory, but after talking to hundreds of people, this is not. The second thing that you want to do is take action, okay? You want to take action on the information right when you get it. The reason for this is because if you don't, and I've seen this countless times, you turn into the guy who just keeps watching videos, doesn't start, feels like they're working, but they're not working, and then the cycle just goes on forever. You don't want that to happen. So you want to strike while it's hot and actually take action once you get the information. Then what you want to do, if you want to succeed in ecom, is actually look back at your last test. Look back at the action that you're taking. Start to give yourself some feedback. Start to analyze, okay, well, I could have done this better. I could have made my site better. I could have put more effort in here. I rushed it on my ads. This is how you're going to really win. You need to have some type of self-feedback, because if you're not self-analyzing the things that you're doing, you're never going to know what's good and what's bad, and you're just going to keep running into the wind blind. Then the next phase of how to be successful in ecom is actually start to learn marketing, okay? Start to understand customers, start to understand emotions, start start to understand buying patterns. Because once you have a basic understanding of this, it's going to make your life a million times easier, because then you're going to actually know how to sell to people. You're going to understand why people are buying from you. You're going to understand why people aren't buying from you if you're not touching their, emotional triggers, if you're not explaining their desires and explaining how this product brings them closer to their desired outcome. You need to take the time to learn this. You will learn this through new information and new action. That's how this will happen. And then once you have a basic understanding of what you're supposed to do and how to do it, you want to pick 1 to 3 people to study and model and watch and learn from, and block out everybody else, because everybody else turns into noise. You do not want 100, 200 people's opinions in your ear all day. This YouTube video, this Instagram reel, this course, this. It's just going to put you in a hamster wheel of just going like this all day. So what you want to do is pick 1 to 3 people and model them and learn from them and ask them questions. Figure out what they did to get to where they're at. Make sure it's somebody that actually is successful, somebody that you respect, and somebody whose journey that you want to replicate. Once you do that, that will put you ahead of 99% of people in this game. 99% of people in this game are going to come into this game blind, trying to rip products. They don't care whether they work or not, because they're just going to try to rip the next one. No feedback, no concept of marketing, nothing, and start this perpetual cycle. This is why most people don't make it when it comes to ecom. And that is why I wanted you guys to sit here and hear me break this down for you, because I was on the other end of this. So I know what that side of the grass looks like, because I was there. You just run around chasing your own tail, trying to rip products, trying to steal, just trying to figure out, how to make some money without putting in any real effort and having any real skills. And you don't want that, bro. You don't want that. You want to have a marketing foundation. You want to have a high income skill, because if ecom isn't your path, but you actually know how to sell to customers, you know how to build a website, you know how to make ads, you know how to run ads, you can take that skill set and bring it to any other business model. You could use it for agency, you could use it for affiliate, you could use it to start a fucking landscaping company. That skill set is extremely valuable. You don't get that valuable skill set if you just rip products from everybody. This is why I want you guys to learn it this way, and this is why 99% of people fail, because they don't. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here, guys. Just like the rest of my videos, 100% authentic and genuine. I'm just giving you the insight that I've learned through the past few years of ecom, making 7 figures, losing hundreds of thousands, everywhere in between, the 6-figure months, the negative months, all of it. And I think that there's somebody out there who will end up watching this video, applying the advice that I gave them, running up a super bag. Like, that will probably happen, and that is my goal, even if it's just 1 person. And if you're new to ecom, if you just got into it, if you just started, if you're trying to start, do not take the approach that the internet is going to try to tell you to take, because it's going to lead you in a cycle of just chasing your own tail. Take it from somebody who was doing it, take it from somebody who was there. It's going to lead you into a cycle of just bad advice and no marketing skill. Typically, it's just for somebody else to get clicks, views, or money from you. Do as you wish with this information. Hope it was valuable. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.